Hey guys, I'm Dr. Paul Garcia. Today we're going to be talking about the big fat lie about fats. Okay, I'm sure you guys have heard this lie. This is for the past 20 years, 30 years, we've been told that fat is the enemy. Public enemy number one. Whatever you do, eat a low fat, healthy whole grain diet. And this dietary information that has been perpetuated and has been, brainwashed into us from an early age is misleading, and it's actually pretty dangerous, and it's leading to a lot of the health conditions that people are suffering today. All right, so we're going to do some myth busting. We're going to talk about what fats are good to eat, what fats might not be good to eat, how much fat we should be eating, and why we want to eat fat in our diet. Okay, so are fats really the enemy? Well, when people think about why we shouldn't have fat in our diet, okay, what comes to mind? I think most of the people that I talk to that come in the office, they say, well, number one, if I eat fat, I'm going to get a heart attack. It's going to increase my cholesterol. It's going to cause some kind of cardiovascular disease. Okay, that's a myth. We know for sure that the amount of cholesterol or the amount of dietary fat in our diet has almost nothing to do with the amount of cholesterol in our body. Okay, when you break it down, the amount of dietary cholesterol in our body at one time, or the amount of dietary fat, 20%. Okay, 20% of our cholesterol comes from diet. 80% of our cholesterol is actually made by our liver, so it's made internally. So if we eat less fat, then our body is just going to make more. And if we eat more fat, our body is just going to make less. Okay, so very, very important point to understand is eating fat doesn't increase your blood cholesterol or your blood fats significantly for the vast majority of people. All right, and the studies have shown that the amount of dietary fat that we eat has pretty much no connection to the amount of cardiovascular risk that you might experience. Okay, in fact, just recently, as of 2017, the U.S. dietary restrictions have eliminated all restrictions on dietary fat. Okay, so beforehand, they used to say limit your fat to a certain percentage. Don't eat the egg yolks. Avoid the bacon, don't have the butter. Now all those restrictions have been completely lifted because the studies show that there's no risk. There's no risk for eating these healthy fats. It's not going to cause a heart attack. Okay, that's good news. So the other factor that we think about a lot of times is that when we eat, if we eat too much fat, it's going to make us fat. It's going to make us gain weight. Okay, this is another misconception. This is very misleading. So if people are following a low-fat, higher carbohydrate, higher protein diet, that's likely going to lead to fat. Okay, and if you've been following along our videos, we've been talking about the problem with insulin, the problem with high insulin, the problem with what's called fat adaptation. So most people out there that struggle with weight loss, that struggle with what's called metabolic syndrome, which is elevated cholesterol, elevated blood sugars, kind of like prediabetes or metabolic syndrome. Most of these people have high insulin. Okay, what that means is that they're not fat adapted. Okay, their bodies just won't use fat. Their cells won't use fat for energy. They'll be stuck burning sugar. Okay, and if you're not fat adapted and if you're a sugar burner, no matter how little you eat, no matter how hard you exercise, you're not going to be able to burn fat, and you're going to get frustrated because all your attempts to lose weight are going to be futile. And all your attempts to lower your cholesterol and lower your blood pressure and your blood sugars, they're going to be futile. Okay, so eating fat doesn't make us fat and it doesn't cause heart disease. In fact, when we treat patients that have maybe insulin resistance or metabolic syndrome, maybe if they are pre-diabetic or diabetic, or if they're weight loss resistant. Okay, if they've tried every diet, tried everything known to man, and just for whatever reason, nothing seems to make the scale move. Okay, they can't lose weight at all. These people have broken metabolisms. These people are not fat adapted, okay, and these people need more fat in their diet. So how much fat do we want to have in our diet? Well, it depends. For people that are not fat adapted, that need to become fat adapted, that need to become more efficient and more comfortable using fat for energy, these people, they need to have 70 to 80% of their diet come from fats. And I know this is, people get a little bit scared when they hear this number because we've been brainwashed. We think that fat's bad for us. But again, we want to think about what the science shows is that fat is good for us. The right types of fat are very, very healthy. Okay, so 70 to 80% of our diet should come from fat for if you're trying to lose weight, if you have these metabolic conditions that we talked about. All right, so then what types of fat? That's the next question that we get. Well, okay, well, where should these fats come from? What kind of fat should I be eating? So let's talk about the different types of fats that come in our diet. Two main sources of fat. We have saturated fat and we have unsaturated fat. Okay, saturated fats, those are the fats that generally are solid at room temperature. Okay, that's like butter, like animal fats, right? It's like duck fat or lard. The plant-based sources, coconut oil and palm oil. Okay, those are healthy fats. Those are good sources of fat. And we associate that with the enemy, and it's going to create problems for us, but we want to remember it's not. Okay, so again, those are saturated fats. Then we have what are called the unsaturated fats. These tend to be more liquid at room temperature. These are the vegetable oils and the fish oils. The saturated fats are also called essential fatty acids because they're essential. We need to eat these. Our bodies cannot make them, and they're very important to help our body function correctly. So with unsaturated fat, there's two main categories, and you've probably heard of these. These are the omega-3 and the omega-6 fats. So the omega-3 fats, most people associate this with the cold water fish oils. Okay, we know these are very beneficial. These help to decrease inflammation in our bodies. Also, but what a lot of people don't know is that you can also get good quality omega-3 fats from grass-fed meats. So grass-fed beef or grass-fed lamb, pasture-raised, organic, good, healthy. This isn't the stuff that you get at the grocery store, the conventionally raised stuff that's fed, corn, soy, and wheat. Those have higher of the omega-6 fats and not enough of the omega-3 fats. Okay, but also flaxseed, chia seed. These are good sources of omega-3 fats, which are anti-inflammatory. They're essential. They're very beneficial. Okay, then we look at the omega-6 fats. Okay, the omega-6, these are the vegetable oils and the seed oils. Okay, these are essential, but you have to be a little bit careful with these omega-6 fats because what we know is that if there's an imbalance, okay, if you have too many omega-6 compared to omega-3, that creates inflammation in our body. Okay, ideally, the standard American, or what we want to have is we want to have so we want to have like a 1-to-4 or 4-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fats. The problem is that the standard American diet is about 20-to-1, 20 times the amount of omega-6s to the omega-3s. Okay, and this is because these oils, safflower oil, soybean, canola, corn, sunflower, peanut, these oils are refined and industrialized or processed oils. Okay, so they take sunflower seed and they extract the oil from that, right? And then so you have now this bottle of refined oil. Well, our bodies were really never designed to have that quantity of oil. Sure, we can eat some sunflower seeds, we'll get some of that oil, but not in the quantities that we're getting in our diet. Okay, so when you go out to restaurants, all the cooking oils are these omega-6 seed and vegetable oils. When you look at salad dressings, okay, the oils that they use are, again, these omega-6 oils in potato chips and crackers and cookies and baked goods. It's all these omega-6 oils. So it's really important to look at the labels, and if you see these oils, you just have to be aware that we don't want to have too many. And I'm not going to say that you can never have any and avoid them 100%, but these are the oils that you have to be careful with. Okay. Then we have what are called the monounsaturated fatty acids. These are also unsaturated. These are like the olive oil, avocado, and avocado oils. These are healthy. These are good oils. Okay, they generally tend to be cold pressed. They're not damaged oils. They're not refined. They don't create inflammation in our bodies. Okay, so when we look at the types of oils, I like to tell people that you have the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, so the good oils, the saturated fats, these guys are all good oils. The omega-3s, these are all healthy, safe, very beneficial oils. And then also these are all good oils, okay? So then we'll call them the bad oils. Not necessarily that they're bad, but you have to be a little bit careful. You don't want to get too many of these guys because, again, it creates inflammation in our bodies, okay? That's the omega-6 oils. And then the ugly, okay, and this one is very important, the hydrogenated fats, or what's called partially hydrogenated fats. Hopefully you've heard about these. They take a vegetable oil and then they hydrogenate it, they hyperhydrogenate it, and they actually make it a saturated fat. And when you do this to an oil, it literally turns it into a poison for our bodies. So, if you're looking for, looking at the list of ingredients in food and you see partially hydrogenated any kind of oil, literally that's a poison to your body. So these are margarines. This is Crisco. This is, again, found in a lot of baked goods, a lot of processed foods. So it's really important to be able to look at labels to be able to identify oils and fats that are very healthy and to be able to identify the ones that are, not so healthy. Okay, so we want you to understand that fats are not bad for you. They're very healthy for you, especially if you're trying to lose weight or if you're dealing with a metabolic condition. You want to increase those healthy fats. So hopefully this helps. We'll see you on the next video, and live your best.